greatest fights of all time, in every fight that's ever happened. But you look at those two separately, and you know, it wasn't their night tonight, and it wasn't an exciting fight.
I would win against Anthony, but here I am with a broken jaw, learning the hard way. I'll heal.
What just happened? What you just saw was, yes, Jake Paul finding out there's levels to this game. Yes, Anthony Joshua not having the greatest performance of all time, but him doing exactly what he had to do, what he needed to do for boxing, what he needed to do for himself.
The internet went into meltdown the second Jake Paul crashed to the canvas against Anthony Joshua. As clips spread like wildfire, attention instantly shifted to Dana White. The UFC president, long critical of Paul's boxing experiment, didn't need to say much. His reaction spoke volumes. From subtle smirks to blunt remarks, White appeared completely vindicated as real heavyweight power smashed through YouTube hype, turning Jake Paul's confidence into a harsh reality witnessed by millions.
You know, the whole first round, he couldn't have had a better first round, and then he got caught.
Do you feel it's one of those things where, like, he got caught, or is it one of those things where Handman age might be catching up to him, he might be slowing down? Which one do you think it could be?
Ever since Anthony Joshua violently stopped Jake Paul in the 6th round of their heavyweight clash, the combat sports world has been buzzing non-stop. Paul was rushed to the hospital with a broken jaw and multiple facial fractures, injuries serious enough to require surgery. Titanium plates were inserted, and teeth were removed as part of the procedure, highlighting just how brutal the knockout truly was.
Own credibility, I've got to knock you out, but I've got to try and knock you out where I'm not hurting you as much as what I could if I unleashed. Yeah. And with the punch you said that he landed, it's not his best punch, his most powerful punch, right? Yep. And he's shattered his jaw in 2 places, right? So Anthony Joshua gets his 70 million, whatever it is. But I think he's sitting there thinking, thank God for that. Thank God. On a human level, I've come out, all right, I've sort of, not reputation, but I haven't hurt him as bad as what I could have.
There should be an awful amount of people breathing a massive sigh of relief. Anybody that put that fight together, athletic commissions, like you said,
it wasn't a fight.
No, it wasn't at all. Like you said, it was a prize fight. It was an event. If Anthony damages him, he's got to live with that for the rest of his life.
Absolutely.
That's a lot of stress to deal with, you know what I mean? So I'm sure he's bleeding the side of relief. The team that have put him in there, that have negotiated that for him, but the authorities that put that on and commissioned it as a proper boxing match, I've no doubt.
Does that go on his... Because
yeah, it's a professional boxing.
Do you know what? If I was Anthony Joshua, I would be saying, I don't want that on my record. But for the credibility of them putting the fight on, they would have said to him, no, we've got to say this. It's been commissioned. It's going to be a proper fight. And I found it, I love my boxing, but I just find the whole thing really, really unedifying. You said about get followers. You mentioned Tommy Fury. Tommy Fury is nowhere near his level of getting like a British title fight or whatever. Nowhere near. So it's basically he's like...
Beat Jake Paul.
Well, beat Jake Paul. But so
but what I'm saying is that that's 100. I stand by that, and I think Tommy would admit that. You know what I mean? To become a British champion is a very prestigious thing to do, and I think he would struggle to do that.
But I think when I was reading,
medical scans later revealed Jake Paul's jaw was fractured in 2 places, an injury known as a double fracture. Despite the damage, Paul drove himself to the hospital, where doctors confirmed the severity. Recovery was expected to take 4 to 6 weeks, and Paul shared X-rays and updates on social media, thanking fans for their support. Dana White, who had warned the fight was a terrible idea from the beginning, saw the outcome as proof that Paul was never ready for a former heavyweight champion.
That's a fucking bad idea. That's a bad idea. But let me tell you what, a lot of people watch that one.
Will you watch it?
Sure. You know what everybody's tuning in for on that one. I think everybody's going to get...
Many analysts are now calling the entire spectacle a real-life Tom and Jerry episode, arguing the ending was obvious from day one. Jake Paul played the loud, cartoonish antagonist for months, while Anthony Joshua remained calm, silent, and methodical. When the bell finally rang, the joke was over. Joshua's power, timing, and ring intelligence overwhelmed Paul, shocking casual viewers but confirming what serious boxing minds expected all along.
Great performance by Jake, brother.
Come on, bro. He's a fucking legend for that. He has such big balls getting in the ring with that guy, dude. Joshua's a monster. He stayed in it the whole time, and I'm really proud of Jake, dude. All my respect to him, bro. Whatever outcome. I mean, dude, he went 6.5 rounds with Anthony Joshua, one of the best in the world. So I got nothing.
And got up like 2 times.
No, it was sick.
Talk about that. I mean, there's been other heavyweights that have felt that right hand who haven't got it.
Nagano, so many people, bro. The overhand right. Jake's got a tough chin, dude. I think he does whatever he wants after this. He just has such big balls, dude. He had to keep moving. That was the only strategy. People are gonna say he ran around the ring. They don't know. They don't understand fucking boxing.
He showed a ton of heart, right? What's next for Jake Paul?
Legendary trainer Teddy Atlas surprised fans by outlining a potential, though unlikely, path for Jake Paul to beat Anthony Joshua. Atlas stressed that styles make fights, suggesting Paul could rely on speed, movement, and youth to frustrate Joshua. By staying mobile, avoiding exchanges, and capitalizing on any overcommitment with a surprise right hand, Atlas believed Paul's best chance was a tactical, evasive strategy, even if it wouldn't be pretty.
Talk about news that broke out, and it's someone that you've always shown respect to, and I've asked you these questions before about Jake Paul. We had a surprise announcement just the other day about him and Anthony Joshua. What was your reaction when you saw that announcement? It shocked a lot of people in boxing. What did you make of that, or what do you make?
Jake hasn't made too many mistakes so far, so it got my attention. It got Teddy's attention. He's been growing. He's been growing in the ring. He's been growing outside the ring. He's been growing in confidence. I think that in the Canelo situation, that didn't happen. He was ready to do that. I think if anything else, if nothing else, he's showing you that he truly is believing in himself. And that, you know, he's been a work in progress. He still is. And he's showing you, he's putting his money where his mouth is. Everyone's calling for him to do this, to do that. And, you know, he's always had the advantage with guys that weren't real fighters. They were fighters. They were older fighters. They were MMA fighters. They were this. They were that. They were smaller. They were older. Now he's taking a guy that's bigger, older, but bigger. A real, can't debate if he's a fighter. Two-time heavyweight champ. Coming off. But he's a smart son of a gun. He's a gutsy son of a... I always stood up for him because everyone was saying he was hurting the sport. He wasn't hurting the sport. In some ways, he was bringing interest in a different way to the sport.
Promoted as Judgment Day, the bout was set for 8 3-minute rounds at heavyweight, with Anthony Joshua entering as a massive favorite. Standing 6 feet 6 inches and weighing 243 pounds, Joshua dwarfed Jake Paul, who came in around 216. After a cautious start, Joshua took over, flooring Paul multiple times in the 5th round before ending the fight early in the 6th with a crushing right hand that forced the referee to step in.
Rounds, but as the fight went on, the more experienced Joshua began to take control. After continuously connecting in the 5th round, it was only a matter of time before it was over. In the 6th, Joshua went on to knock out Paul with a big right hand. Joshua improved his career record to 29-4 now. Paul loses for the 2nd time in his career to go along with 12.
Former UFC champion Daniel Cormier made it clear there was never a realistic scenario where Jake Paul could defeat Anthony Joshua. While Cormier credited Paul for his toughness and heart, he explained that Joshua simply carried him until the inevitable happened. The skill gap, power difference, and experience ensured the fight would end with one clean punch, and that's exactly how it played out.